Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923, AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender, American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC, DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage, LoFi Direct, Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent, License Lender, Broker Number ML 338923, Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number MC 338923, Rhode Island License Lender, License Number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Sports Talk with R&J. I'm Steve Rister, along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And we start week 4 with a really, really good NFC North matchup as the Detroit Lions head to Lambeau Field to face the Green Bay Packers. This is a rematch of a week 18 game last year, which the Lions eliminated the Packers from the postseason. So I think this is going to be a really, really close competitive game between these two teams. I think these are over the first 3 weeks, these teams have definitely proven they are the 2 best teams in this division. I think this is going to be close. I think this is going to be competitive. I think it's going to come right down to the wire. I think the difference in this game is going to be I think Detroit is going to run the football better than I think Detroit's going to run the football better than Green Bay is. And I also think that Jared Goff is going to make less mistakes. And I think that this Detroit defense, who does a good job stopping the run, is going to make a big play on defense, either stopping Jordan Love late in the game or forcing a turnover late in the game. And that's why I got the Lions winning their 4th straight against the Packers. I got the Lions continuing with the success against the Packers. I got the Lions winning this game 24-20. But Justin, can the Packers snap their 3-game losing streak against the Lions?
I don't think so. They got so many guys that are questionable right now. And if, some of those guys play, maybe I think the Packers could win this game. But I'm with you. I think the Packers running game has kind of really struggled without Aaron Jones in there, and I know he's another one that's questionable tomorrow night. It just hasn't looked the same with A.J. Dillon. They went down 17-0 last week. They did find a way to come back after Derek Carr got hurt. But yeah, I think Goff makes less mistakes this week than Jordan Love. He'll make a bad throw in this one, and put pressure on that defense. And right now, I just think with the Lions, I think they find a way to go up to Lambeau yet again and knock off the Packers.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. And you talk about Aaron Jones. It looks like he's going to play tomorrow night. It looks like Aaron Jones is going to be back tomorrow night. So that could help the Packers. But this Lions defense has done really well against the run. Week 1, they did a really good job containing Isaiah Pacheco. Week 2, even though they lost, they did a good job containing Kenneth Walker. And then last week, he did a great job with Bijan Robinson. That was a huge, huge key there for the Detroit Lions. Their run defense has really been improved. And Dan Campbell, right now it's close, but I'd probably take Dan Campbell over Matt LaFleur. He's had his way with him recently.
Yeah, he has. Still not sold yet on Campbell with the X's and O's wise. Yeah, LaFleur hasn't been great either. Yeah, they're really close. But Dan Campbell is such a great motivator, and he gets everything that the players give him everything that they got. So yeah, never Dan going in didn't know how the Dan Campbell experiment was going to work, but yeah, so far it's done a really good job. And usually some of these like motivated guys or motivational guys like Dan Campbell don't always work out as an NFL head coach, but so far, yeah, he's been pretty good.
He absolutely has. He's done a he's done a really good job, turning this program around, and he's played really well against the Packers. But let's see if he could take the top spot in the division. Last year he finished in second behind the Vikings. Let's see if he could win a critical primetime game here. They went to Kansas City and won a big game on opening night. I know Travis Kelce didn't play, but that was a big win on opening night. Now we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow night against the Packers. But I think it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good game. But I do think the Lions are going to pull it out because of the way they stop the run. I think their quarterback makes less mistakes.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Lions, the defense has been playing better. Played better last week after Geno kind of tore them up through the air. And yeah, you mentioned it. They did a great job stopping the Atlanta Falcons run game last week, and they kind of made Desmond Ridder beat them. And if they can kind of do the same this week, where they slow down that run game enough, and with Jordan Love, make them beat you through the air. Yeah, I think Detroit will find a way to win this football game.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will now move on to the game of the week between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. This is going to be a great game. Last year, all three of their games came down to one possession. That was big. All three of those games, Bills won two of them, Dolphins won one of them. And last year, the playoff game was a 3-point game with Skylar Thompson as the quarterback. So that was a 3-point game last year between those two teams. So this should be a really we're doing it, Frank. We're doing it right now. We're talking about your Dolphins right now. So yeah, we're happy you're on. But yeah, I think for this game, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Miami's offense is going to continue to play well. I think they're going to continue to score points. But the issue is the Buffalo Bills are going to score points. The Buffalo Bills are going to score a lot of points. Josh Allen is going to be red hot. This game's going to go back and forth. There's not going to be much defense being played in this game. This game is going back and forth. This is going to be a great game between these two teams. But I got to take the team that has been the king of the AFC East since 2020. That's the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be a great game, but I'm going to take the Bills in a really close game. I got the Bills. I know Frank's not going to be happy about this, but I got the Bills beating the Dolphins 34-31. But Justin, can Tua win his first game in Buffalo?
I think it's very possible the way they came out last week, but I got the Bills 28-24. I think I would think Buffalo takes a page out of New England's book and plays the three safeties deep and kind of, where you limit those explosive plays with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And again, that means Miami, I think, is going to have a really good game on the ground. But I think, they're going to limit the explosive plays. Josh Allen's really bounced back the last couple of weeks at home. I do think, I don't think Josh Allen makes many mistakes this week against the Dolphins. I think it's a really close game. I would not be shocked to see Miami win the football game. But I just think the Bills are going to limit the Dolphins' explosive plays, not like what the Broncos did last week and the Chargers did week 1.
All right, Frank says, what? Let me tell you something, Frank. I know they're 3-0. I know they put up 70 points last week. I know how explosive they are this year. But they've never won in Buffalo, and they haven't proven to be the best team in the division yet. This is a big game on Sunday. If they could do this, they can get to 4-0. The Bills are 2-2. They are the best team in the division, but they got to win this game. Tua has never won a game in Buffalo, so you cannot question. I know Miami's a really good team; they're a top 3 team in the AFC, but you cannot question people for picking the Bills, seeing the fact that Tua has never won a game in Buffalo.
Yeah, look, if the Dolphins win this game, I think they have the division locked down, because again, they'd already be 2-0 against the division, and both those games are on the road, and you've already have a 2-game lead. So the Dolphins win this game, they're I think Dolphins are a team that they have a shot to go on the run and go to a Super Bowl this year.
He says we'll be eating our words next week. All right, it's a regular season game against two really, really good teams in a place where Miami has had a ton of trouble over the years. They've had a lot of trouble playing in Buffalo. I think the last time they beat them in Buffalo was like 2018. So the Dolphins have had a lot of trouble in Buffalo. No, I think it's before that. I think it might even be 2017 or 2016 when Jay Ajayi had that huge game where he went for over 200 yards. So back when Adam Gase was the coach. But yeah. So these are two really, really good teams. It should be a great game. Yeah, you say we're going to be eating our words, but this is the Bills are also the last 2 weeks. The Bills have also looked really, really good, and I know you guys have looked really good, but they've looked really good as well.
Yeah. The Bills defense. This is, New England's defense is pretty good, and the Bills defense is probably just right there. Like, I think the Bills have better players in New England all around defensively. This is, they're going to face a really good defense this week, and it's going to be a tough task to go up there and knock them off. And, and the Bills, and, I'm not really sold yet on Miami's defense. So, I think Josh Allen's going to be able to move the ball. I think the difference is, the Bills, I'll take the Bills defense to get a stop more than I trust the Miami defense to get a stop late in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it comes to that point where one of those teams has to get a stop, like say the game is tied like 31-31 late, and Josh Allen's the ball in his hands. Josh Allen scored. We know that. Josh Allen's going to score. And, Frank can get on us next week if we were wrong, but Josh Allen's going to score if he has the ball late in the game, if he has the ball in his hands late in the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At home, I think he definitely will. He definitely will. We've seen it before. Look, that Jet game, he made some big costly turnovers in that game, and I think he's really going to make sure that he doesn't this week. In a big game against Miami, I think he's going to take much better care of the football this week. And yeah, he goes down. I think he'll go down the field late in the game, with the score tied, or if they're even behind a field goal, and he'll find a way for his team to get the win.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a really, I think it's going to be a really good game. Yeah, I think if it comes to that spot, comes to that situation where he's got to the Dolphins got to make a stop against Josh Allen. I don't think it's happening. I just don't think it's happening. Now, the other question going into this game is the winner of this game the best team in the AFC? I mean, you look at Kansas City, you look at Buffalo, you look at Miami, and there's teams like Baltimore in there too. But Baltimore and Cleveland's look pretty good defensively as well. But the big question is the winner of this game the best team in the AFC? And I'm going to say no. I don't think the winner, if either team wins this game, I don't think they're the best team in the AFC, because I still think the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC, because the one game the Chiefs lost was without Travis Kelce. I'm not even going to say Chris Jones, because that's on them for not having Chris Jones. But the one game they lost to the Lions was by 1 point without Travis Kelce. So I'm going to say no. I don't think either team, the winner of either team, even if they win this game, is the best team in the AFC.
Yeah, I'm with you. I right now, the way that Chiefs defense is playing, and I don't think it's kind of a fluke. Like, I think the defense continue to play as well as it has so far this year. And yeah, you added Travis Kelce, and I know they put up 41 last week against a horrible Bears team, but I think that offense with Patrick Mahomes, they're gonna continue to kind of figure things out. This week against the Jets defense will be, a good test for him. But yeah, when they got Mahomes, and that defense is just again, I know Justin Fields has not been great, but he had 99 yards passing last week. And he was 11 for 22. I really think that defense has gotten a lot better. And I think the Chiefs yet again are, right now still the best team in the AFC.
Frank will say yes, because he wants to say his Dolphins are the best team in the AFC if they win on Sunday. So Frank says yes because of that, and then Xander says best teams in the AFC right now, hands down, KC and Miami. Xander, you're forgetting about Buffalo. Buffalo, yeah, they lost that game to the Jets, but Josh Allen has struggled against the Jets throughout his career. So, yeah, I mean, you're saying that it's KC and Buffalo hands down. I would not be forgetting the Bills. I definitely wouldn't be forgetting the Bills. The Bills should definitely be in this conversation. When was the last time Miami has won a playoff game? Okay. So the Bills have won the division the last 3 years. They should definitely be in this conversation with the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Yeah,
absolutely. The Bills still right there. With that defense and with Josh Allen starting to kind of figure things out, the offense is starting to get more of a rhythm. Yeah, I am. I know Sanderson Miami is beating the Bills without Tua. That is
They've
that is
not, no, no,
true.
no,
I
that's,
still
that's not
think
accurate. That is not accurate. They have not. Oh, Tua might have gotten hurt in the game. I'll get it, but it wasn't a game that Tua started. Yeah, Tua got hurt in the game, but he didn't start. He didn't start that game where they beat him in week 3 last year. So yes, it's not like but they did almost beat them without Tua. I'll admit the Dolphins did almost beat him without Tua, but they never beat him without Tua for an entire game.
Okay, so they haven't yet. But yeah, like, and I think right now the Bills defense is just a little bit better than the Dolphins defense, and I think that's big. And look, the Bills can, is that running game kind of for real? That's kind of what's been their kryptonite, especially when they make the playoffs in recent years, and that's why they haven't been able to move on. Last week they ran the ball well, but they got up to such a big lead. But yeah, the Bills should still be right there. They still have a ton of talent. You could say they have the most pressure probably in the whole NFL to get to the Super Bowl. Like, just because they've fallen short, and it kind of feels like their window's kind of closing pretty soon. So there's a lot of pressure on the team to get back there, and I don't think they should be written off just yet.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, they still have Josh Allen. They still got a really good defense. They still got Stephon Diggs. So they absolutely should not be counted. They should not be counted out. But it should be interesting to see what happens. Game of the week, Bills Dolphins on Sunday should be a great game. But we got to move on to the 4:00 game between Xander's team and Justin's team as the 1 and 2 Patriots travel to Jerry World to face the Dallas Cowboys. And I think the Cowboys will win this game, but I don't think they're going to cover. Dallas really disappointed me last week. Xander was realistic. He said that he's not getting excited until they get to the conference championship game. He says he's not that high on the boys until they get to the conference title game. And he was right about it last week. Arizona ran the ball down their throats. And I think New England's going to do kind of the same thing. I think they're going to have a lot of success running the football with Ramondre Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott. I think they're going to have a lot of success running the ball with those two guys. I think both of them are going to have big games. I think Mac Jones is going to play pretty well, but I do think Dallas is going to force a turnover in the game, and I don't think Dak is going to turn the ball over. I do think Dak's going to play a turnover-free game, and that's going to be the difference. I don't think Dak's going to turn the ball over. I think Mac's going to turn the ball over, and I just don't see the Patriots have not scored more than 20 points this year, and to beat the Cowboys, I think they're going to have to get over 20, and I don't think they do. So in a really, really close competitive game, just like it was 2 years ago in Foxborough when the game went to overtime between these two teams, I think the Cowboys win. I think the Patriots cover, but I think the Cowboys win a close one. I got Dallas beating the Patriots 23-20. But Justin, can the Patriots get their second straight win in Jerry World this week?
I'm hoping, but I don't feel very confident right now. I got the Cowboys 20-10. I know you're saying, I know Sunday you texted me about the Patriots should just run the 12 personnel the entire game and just run the football, which I think, they should be able to. This offense right now is just, they just leave so many points on the board. Last week they had a couple missed field goals. They just don't finish drives. They didn't have one play last week inside the red zone. Like, they kind of lived within, they got to the 30, 25 yard, that was about it. Like, they just don't finish drives. They just don't seem crisp. They just don't have a huge playmaker at wide receiver right now. And then their one touchdown was Pharaoh Brown, and he kind of, it was a broken coverage. So I'm not very confident right now in this offense. And I think right now, I think the Cowboys defense plays better. I know they're banged up on the offensive line right now. I think the Patriots offense kind of struggles this week. I'm not very high on it right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a really, really tough one against this team. It's gonna be tough. I mean, but Dallas proved last week that they're not a great team. Let's be honest. Dallas proved last week they weren't a great team. I mean, they got beat by Arizona. I mean, I know Arizona plays hard, but they got beat by Arizona. So Dallas is not facing Philly. This is not facing San Francisco. It's not facing Buffalo. It's not facing Miami. This is not facing Kansas City. So I do think you guys will be close. But the problem is, and this has been going on since 2020, when you faced a good team and a good quarterback, you usually have fallen short. Really, the only team I could see that was a great team that you beat that you've really beaten since 2020 has been the Bills, that Monday night game. Yes, you beat the Chargers twice, but really considering the Chargers a great team. No. Well, yeah, it's been the Bills in that Monday night game. So really, I think it's going to be typical how the Patriots have been playing since 2020. They're close against some of these good teams, but they don't pull it out.
No, they just haven't. They've had their chances. They had their chances this year against the Eagles. They had their chance against the Dolphins. They couldn't finish either. They couldn't finish either game. And last week they should have won that game by more than 3 points. They were or they should have won that game by a couple scores with the way their defense played with their offense. And again, yeah, I think they could keep this game close. I think they could have success running the ball. But when this team gets in the opponent's territory, I just don't know what happens. It all goes wrong for this team, and I think Micah Parsons too is going to have I think he's going to dominate against this offensive line.
Yeah, Xander just said Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons needs to get laid up by Mac Jones is dirty. He needs to get laid up by Micah Parsons. Here's the thing: I don't know if he's going to have the greatest game because I think New England's going to be able to run the ball. And here's the one thing Bill is going to keep running the ball. If it's working, Bill's going to keep doing it against the Cowboys defense. If they keep running the ball, Bill's going to keep doing it. So I do think New England stays in this game. I'm not saying New England's a great team or even a playoff team, but I think they could stay in the game because I think there's a formula that they could stay in the game by running the football and having Mac Jones and using Mac Jones off play action. So I do think they stay in this game. I don't think this game is a blowout. And I don't think Micah Parsons is a huge game because Bill Belichick's going to be doubling all the time. He's going to be doubling Micah Parsons, and he's going to be limiting CeeDee Lamb. So he's probably going to take those two guys away. So I do think the game is going to be competitive. I just don't think the Patriots have the talent to beat or the quarterback play to beat a pretty good team like the Cowboys on the road.
No, I don't either. I don't either right now. The way things are going. Look, I thought their offensive line played okay last week. I thought they gave Mac enough time. Most of the time when he dropped back last week. But yeah, I just Parsons, Dexter Lawrence, I think kind of scares me as well because Cole Strange is there's a whole offensive line. I'm still not. I still don't love it.
You mean DeMarcus Lawrence?
Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't know if Dexter Lawrence, but yeah, I think so. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is I think he could get a lot of pressure on Mac Jones too. So yeah, look, I hope they can find success running the football this week. Part of me too, I can't imagine Dallas plays as bad as they did last week. I just can't. Look, and maybe Bill can outcoach Mike McCarthy because McCarthy kind of blew that game. Because even now, 12 last week, they're running the football like they were up 12 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
made no sense to me.
Yeah, he passed up a field goal in the third quarter. Yeah, he did not coach a good game.
Yeah, and then if he kicked it there the first time, they got back down the red zone a couple times. They had a chance to at least tie that game. So yeah, maybe Bill can outcoach them, but I'm kind of out in this offense right now until they show me something. It's just mediocre at best.
Yeah, exactly. So should be an interesting game between the Pats and the Cowboys on Sunday afternoon. But we got to move on to the Monday night game. This is a must-win for the Giants here. Must-win game for the Giants. They got to beat the Seahawks. And I think this is going to be a really close game, a close competitive game. For the Giants, they got to score at least 24 points. They're going to win this game. They can't be scoring like 17 or 20 points. They got to score at least 24 points because Seattle's got a good offense. Seattle's got a really good offense. Geno Smith has played well. Since he's came there, you got Kenneth Walker, and you got DK, you got Tyler Lockett. But the thing is the Giants could definitely should be able to move the ball through the air against this team. Seattle does not have a good pass defense. They should be able to move the ball through the air. Daniel Jones should have a really, really good game. This is a game that Darren Waller's got to have a big game. Darren Waller's got to play really, really well in this game. Darren Waller's got to play well. Also, I want to see Hyatt play more. I definitely want to see Hyatt get more playing time. I want to see him get more playing time on Monday night. So I think Daniel Jones is going to have a really good game. I think Daniel Jones is going to come out to play. I think he's going to throw 2 or 3 touchdown passes, and I think he's going to be a threat with his legs. I think he's not like he was against San Francisco. I think he's going to be a threat again with his legs in this game, just like he was against the second half of Arizona. I think he's going to have a big game with his legs. And I think this Giants defense, I know it's struggled, and I think it's going to continue to struggle a little bit against the run against Kenneth Walker, but I do think this defense, with the blitzing of Wick Martindale, is finally going to force some turnovers. I think they're going to force a turnover or two against Geno Smith, and I think that's going to be the difference. That's why I think the Giants are going to get to 2-2. This is a must-win game. If they don't win this game, they're not making the playoffs. They don't beat the Seahawks, they're not making the playoffs. If you look down the line at the schedule, they got at Miami, they got at Buffalo the next 2 weeks. They don't win this game, they are not making the playoffs. So I got the Giants here. I got the Giants winning 28-24 over the Seahawks. And Justin, in your mind, As we remember last year, the Giants came into Seattle 6-1 and they lost. That was the Richie James game where he dropped the punt. Do you think they will get revenge on Monday night against the Seahawks?
I get the Seahawks 24-21. I think they're playing better right now than the Giants. And, look, Thursday, I know. So, for the Giants, again, maybe this like 11 days off from last Thursday, you played the Niners to having Monday. Like, you kind of got another bye. Like, this could be kind of a huge factor for the Giants to kind of figure some things out. For me, I think, Seattle's, again, obviously it's not as good as the Niners, defensive front, but I think the Seahawks will still get some pressure on Daniel Jones. And look, if they can get Daniel Jones just a little bit of time, maybe that can get Jalen Hyatt involved to kind of hit some deep shots, and then that kind of opens some stuff underneath. That's what you're gonna have to be able to do. I assume you're still not gonna have Barkley.
Yeah, he's day to day right now.
Yeah,
day to day.
He might be able to. But I'm not banking on that he's going to come out and be able to play in this game. But I do worry about that offensive line, the Giants, a little bit, and I do see Sanders' comments. And
come on, Seahawks win convincingly. All right, come on.
I don't think Seahawks win convincingly.
Come on, you're a Giants hater. I know you're a Cowboy fan. You hate the Giants, but Seahawks win convincingly. This is a must-win game with a Brian Daboll coach team. Come on now. They're going to win convincingly. Brian Daboll is not going to get blown out in this game. Yes, the Seahawks, I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks win. But convincingly, come on now. That's just being a hater. Jander's just being a hater there.
Yeah, I don't see Seahawks going in there and winning by double digits. But I see Seattle going in there winning a hard-fought game.
Yeah, another comment. Right. By 10. All right, I could see by 10. I could see it by 10. Now, if the Giants lose by 10, I would be really, really upset. But I could maybe see them winning it by 10 because they did win by 2 touchdowns last year, even though it was a one-score game until Richie James fumbled the punt.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't be shocked. Seattle's got the offensive talent to do that, to kind of put up some points. And if Giants can't keep up, I could definitely see the Giants falling behind. But, yeah, I think right now Geno Smith, makes a couple more plays than Daniel Jones in this one. And, can the Giants pass rush get after Geno Smith? I know you played the Niners last week. You finally got a sack. But I got to see it more from this defensive front. And I think, if he's got enough time, I think he could pick the Giants apart.
And you talked about the defensive front. I'm happy you brought that up because this defensive front has to step up. Dexter Lawrence, he hasn't gotten a lot of sacks, but he's played well. Dexter Lawrence has played well. Leonard Williams, he's been decent. But Kayvon Thibodeau, you got to start playing. This is ridiculous. You have to start playing. You need to be more active. This is ridiculous. For the number 5 overall pick, this has been a very, very disappointing start for Kayvon Thibodeau. I know he had that great game against Washington in Week 15 last year, but this has been a very, very disappointing start for Kayvon Thibodeau. And he's got to start playing, or Joe Schoen is going to get questioned for that pick, just like he's going to get questioned for the Evan Neal pick.
Yeah, absolutely. It hasn't been good so far for Thibodeau. And, he was such a dominant force at Oregon and, going in, such a kind of big time pass rush, and people thought, he's going to be a stud, and it was thought to be a great get for the Giants. And I thought it was going to be, but yeah, he struggled. And, Evan Neal too. It's, Shane, I think, and Daboll have done a good job, but yeah, so far Shane's first rounders, with Neal and Thibodeau haven't been great so far. They need more from that pass rush, and because that pass rush did pretty well last year, and I think that was a big part of the success the Giants had, and they need to get back to that. And yeah, this is a week where you need that pass rush to get going, especially with the quarterbacks you got coming up next, Bills and Dolphins. Like if you let those two guys sit back in the pocket, you might give up 30. So yeah, this is a week the Giants pass rush has to get going.
Without a doubt. And this is a huge game for this regime. Because this regime, I feel like going to this year has to kind of prove they can take the next level. They can take the next step. And so far they haven't. This is looking at the Dallas game where they got embarrassed. They came back and beat Arizona, and then they got outplayed against the 49ers, which we expected. But this is a huge game for this regime. They got to win it, because if they lose this game, they're probably going to stare at 1-5, and 1-5 means you're probably not going to make the playoffs, and that means a step back for this regime this year.
Yeah. I still think of this team as, all right, we're in year 2 of a rebuild, and it's a much tougher schedule this year. Like I feel like if as long as this team wins like 6-7 games and you're still and you kind of see progress. I know right now you're not really seeing it, but if like towards the end of the year, if this team kind of starts to play better down the stretch and you kind of see some bright spots from some younger guys, then I feel like okay, it's still a good year. We're still year 2 in the rebuild. Last year was kind of one of those, they, that was an awesome year, but you're kind of ahead of the plan. But yeah, like if the team wins only 4 or 5 games, then yeah, I'd be very disappointed. But if the team wins 6-7 games, I feel like okay, as long as this team kind of improves down the stretch, I feel like it's still an okay year. I know you want to get back to playoffs this year, but the schedule was just much tougher this year.
Very tough early on. I'll give you that. Very, very tough early on. But I would still consider 6 or 7 wins a disappointment. All right, maybe if it's like they're like 9-8 and they miss the playoffs, I can accept that. But I would still consider 6 or 7 a disappointment. I wanted to see growth from this team. I wanted to see Kayvon Thibodeau be better. I wanted to see Evan Neal be better. I wanted to see this passing game be better. And so far, we haven't seen the defense, seen any of that improve on the defensive side of the ball. And then on the offensive side of the ball, it was really just that one half against Arizona.
Yeah, that so far. And look, Arizona may be better than everybody thought they were. Like they might not be a pushover like they were supposed to. So yeah, you have to start seeing some improvement. And like that Niner game, I know you lost by 18, but that game was, that game could have been a 25-30 point game. Like the Niners kind of
absolutely.
Yes. So yeah, you got to start seeing some improvement. So like yeah, if this team doesn't start improving, with the 6-7 wins, like if you don't see any improvement from this team and this team just kind of seems to get better, then yes, I'd say it's a disappointment. But like if you start 1-5 and then it's like kind of after the bye, you start to kind of you got the Eagles twice, right at the end.
Yeah, but
so yeah, maybe 6-7 would be.
But there is a stretch there where they're able to, they got the Patriots, they got the Jets, they got the Raiders, they got the Commanders twice, so they could take advantage there. But yeah, it's a very good chance they could be 6 or 7. But I want 9 wins from this team. I want this team back in contention because to me it shows growth of this team's in contention. 6-7 wins doesn't show growth to me, especially if Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau continue to play the way they are.
Yeah, like if those two do not develop and like Neal does not get any better, Thibodeau kind of continues just to kind of be pedestrian, especially doesn't bring a factor in the defense, then yeah, then I'd be very disappointed in the year and yeah, be kind of a setback and would be very frustrating because especially you just signed Daniel Jones, you got Barkley right now, and with kind of Darren Waller hasn't been great either. Like and I know the drops have always kind of been a concern with him too, been staying on the field, but yeah, like I think going in the year I had him at 8 and 9. Like yeah, if they could finish like right there, yeah, kind of some progress. But yeah, like you'd hope they can get this one too because yeah, you got the Jets, Raiders, Commanders twice coming up, so it's like all right, you could kind of get a couple there hopefully, and maybe kind of start fighting your way back and kind of going into December could still kind of be fighting and maybe a couple games back, but all right, we still have a chance here to get one of the wild card spots.
As I said earlier, if the Giants want to be a playoff team, they got to win this game. Last year, I knew when they beat the Packers, when they started 4-1, they were probably going to be a playoff team. If they lose this game against Seattle, I'll probably say they're not a play. They're not going to be. I'm probably going to say they're not going to be a playoff team. This is a tone-setting game. If you can get out of this stretch 2-4, it's not great, but it's okay. It's better than 1-5 going into kind of a soft middle. Going to the middle of the season where the schedule softens out, but. This is the game. This has to be a win. No excuses. You got to get the job Monday night if you're the Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. The crowd's behind you Monday night. It's a big one. Yeah, I think everybody in that locker room knows it's a big one, and you're fighting a team that you might be right there with in a wild card spot. So this
absolutely,
is
that's why this game is so crucial because this is definitely a team, in my opinion, that I think Seattle's like a 9-10 win team. This is another team. This is definitely a team you're going to be fighting with for that. Probably maybe that 6th or 7th. One of those last 2 wild card spots. That's why this is a huge game.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this would be huge, and Pete Carroll's done a phenomenal job with this franchise, and yeah, Seattle's be ready to play. It's gonna be a tough offense, and yeah, we're gonna kind of see what this defense has, and has this defense gotten any better in the last 11 days, and has the offensive line kind of gotten better? Because yeah, Seattle's defense isn't great. Like this is definitely a good test for the Giants, and yeah, if they win this football game, they're kind of right back in it where it's okay. You have some hope that this team could, this team kind of hang around here. But yeah, if they lose it to 1-5, and you're kind of, you're going to have to beat the Commanders twice and go to the Jets and beat the Raiders as well, and kind of try to, you're going to have to seal wins there.
Absolutely, absolutely. 11 days off, no excuses. Get the job done if you're the Giants, but it should be an interesting game between those two teams on Monday night. Now, there'll be another game this week at MetLife Stadium as the Chiefs travel to MetLife to face the Jets. And this was supposed to be a great game. This was supposed to be a great game, but then Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and I don't see this game being good at all. I think that Mahomes throws a couple touchdown passes. I think that the defense of the Chiefs forces 2 or 3 turnovers from Zach Wilson. At this point, what are the Jets doing playing Zach Wilson? And then Robert Saleh says, he's definitely our guy. He's definitely our guy. What are you talking about, Robert Saleh? He's not definitely your guy. Look at your locker room. Even Rich Samini's been saying there's issues in the locker room with the defensive players. There's major issues with the Jets, with Zach Wilson, their quarterback. They're going to go with him this week, but let's be honest. This should be the last week he starts. It should be the starter for the Jets. I get the Chiefs winning this game 30-10 over the Jets. And Justin, we both know the Chiefs are going to win, obviously. But the big question is should this be Zach Wilson's last start as the Jets starting quarterback?
Yeah, I got the Chiefs as well, 24-10 in this one. This should, you would hope. I know they just signed Trevor Siemian, which I know is not much of an upgrade, but it is an upgrade. And look, I give Jets fans credit because I heard they cheered Zach Wilson when he took the field last week. So like they tried to give him some confidence out there. But again, the tall tale sign there was like 2 plays. The one where he went down, the pocket was congested in front of him, but he just fell to the ground. And then that 4th and 10 with the game on the line.
That 4th and 10 was absurd. That 4th and 10. How do you dump the ball off there? That is awful. That is pathetic.
Yeah, like the game's on the line. Like if it, like throw it down the field, gets picked. Who cares? But that showed me he's so scared to throw an interception, and he's got zero confidence. So he has to. Like he's just, he can't throw the ball downfield. He's got zero confidence right now. So yeah, that locker room right now is kind of falling apart. You saw on the sidelines, Garrett Wilson was upset. Michael Carter was upset last week. Aaron Rodgers told the offense they got to grow up a little bit after.
Yeah, while he's in California, he's telling them that.
Yeah. That it sounded like he may be at the game Sunday night.
Oh, wow.
Sounded like he kind of hinted that he might. So maybe that helps the team out a little bit. But yeah. The only thing about Saleh is I can't kill. I know the comments aren't great, but it's like, what else are you supposed to say? Because
same with him and Garrett Wilson on Barton Hahn. Same thing.
Yeah, like that. I know they can't because Robert Saleh started Chris Stryver last year for one game over Zach Wilson. Like I think Saleh knows, but again, it's not his call. It's Joe Douglas's call. So and he can't kill him in a press conference. Like he has to try to lift his confidence up a bit. Yeah, it doesn't help, but. Yeah, it's bad right now, the Jets, and they got to make the move because it's just ugly in their offense right now. They just can't move the football. But, like, the one thing is, though, late in that game last week when they started to go more up-tempo, he felt more comfortable. Can you, do you try to do a little bit of that this week with him? I would hope, but it is Nathaniel Hackett. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I think up-tempo might help, but I just don't know if much is going to help the problem now. I think the damage is done. I think it's over for Zach Wilson. I think he needs to go. He needs to go, and they need to get Trevor Siemian they signed. You got Carson Wentz out there. Just do something just to keep. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. But just keep this locker room together. Show that the players, especially on defense, that you care, that you want to win, and that's why. They have to. It is over. They have to move on from him. It just was an absolutely putrid performance from him on Sunday. Zach Wilson is done, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you. They should. They got to cut ties. They should have done that in the offseason. They should have had him be the 3rd string, but for whatever reason, they didn't want to go out and get somebody else. And this is kind of the risk you have. You had a 39-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Even if he was going to miss a game or two, you had to have somebody wait in the wings and not Zach Wilson. But hey, they went ahead and did it, and this is what happens. And unfortunately, they did lose Rodgers, and yeah, he's got to. I can't. You can't keep running him out there because it's just bad. I don't think it's gonna get any better. You'd hope to try to tailor some things that are gonna help him. Like I mentioned, more up tempo, but I don't know if the Jets even try that. But it's been disappointing for the Jets, and this defense at some point is gonna just stop. This defense is gonna there's gonna be a point in that locker room where that defense is kind of be like, well, our offense is gonna help us, and they're just gonna, the resistance is gonna stop there.
Exactly. So it should be a very ugly game Sunday night, and I just don't think the Jets have much of a chance of beating the Chiefs on Sunday night. But we're going to run through the slate of games. We're going to start with the game in London at 9:30 as the Falcons take on the Jags. I think in this game, I think that the Jags do a good job containing Bijan Robinson. And when you contain Bijan Robinson, the Falcons have trouble scoring points, as you saw last week against the Lions. I think Trevor Lawrence has a bounce-back game this week. I think he plays pretty well. I think Etienne does a decent job on the ground. And I got the Jaguars getting to 2-2, beating the Falcons 24-17. But Justin, will the Falcons hand the Jaguars their third straight loss?
I don't think so. I got the Jags as well, 24-20. I trust Jacksonville. They go out west. I mean, they go to London so often. It's a yearly thing. They kind of know the routine. They know how to kind of prepare for this. I know they'll be out there for 2 weeks now. But yeah, you mentioned it. As long as you do not let Bijan Robinson beat you, you got a great chance to beat the Falcons. I don't trust Desmond Ridder away from home. Even though I know it's a neutral site game, but I think Jacksonville's defense kind of wakes up this week. I think even their offense kind of wakes up. And I felt like last week, Jacksonville, I thought, there's guys open. They just didn't catch it. Their offense just didn't seem crisp. I think this Jacksonville team, I think the way they played last week's a wake-up call for them, and I think they play a lot better. And I think that defense responds. And I think Desmond Ridder makes a couple of mistakes this week, and Jacksonville finds a way to knock off Atlanta.
We got an NFC East matchup in Philadelphia as the Commanders face the Eagles. Now, Commanders looking for their second straight win against the Eagles. But that ain't happening with Sam Howell as the starting quarterback. I think DeAndre Swift is another big game on the ground. I feel like Jalen Hurts plays his best game he's played all year. I think he plays a good game. Funny thing about the Eagles is Jalen Hurts hasn't even played that well, and they're 3-0. Shows you how great that roster is. So Jalen Hurts, I think Jalen Hurts has a really good game against them. And I think the defense forced a couple turnovers from Sam Howell. Sam Howell proved last week that I don't think he is the answer for the Commanders at quarterback. I know he won his first 2 games, but I think he proved last week he's not the answer for the Commanders at quarterback. And I got the Eagles winning this battle 30-17. But Justin, can the Commanders get their second straight win over the Eagles?
No, I got Philly 23-14. Philly, that was such a dominating victory, and that was that 9-minute drive there to finish off that game and did not even score a point. That was an impressive drive right then and there. And I just right now, the way Washington played last week offensively, I think Philly's gonna make it very difficult on them. On Sam Howell to kind of get anything going offensively. Baker had a really rough game, and they really struggled to run the football. I think same thing with the Commanders this week. They're not going to be able to run the football. They're going to get behind early, and it's going to be very difficult to go on the road to Philly and knock them off. Bieniemy, so far, I think, again, I still think he's a guy for that offensive coordinator job and with Sam Howell, but I think this week's going to be another difficult one. I think Philly kind of last week really turned it on, and I think maybe that 11 days kind of helped them out. And you mentioned Jalen Hurts played his best game of the year, and he had the flu too. So that was a really impressive victory for Philly the other night.
We got an AFC North matchup in Cleveland as the Ravens travel to Cleveland to face the Browns, and Browns defense is playing really, really well. I think this is going to be a tough NFC North battle. But Lamar Jackson has had a lot of success against the Browns. He's beaten them 4 of the last 5 times, and that one time he lost to him, he got hurt in the game when he lost to him in Cleveland in 2021. So I think Lamar Jackson has a pretty good game this week. I do think it's a little bit of a sloppy game with some turnovers. I think the Ravens defense forced a couple turnovers from Deshaun Watson. I think it's close and low scoring, but I'm going to go with the Ravens to win this one. I got the Ravens going to 3-1, beating the Browns 20-17. But Justin, can the Browns defense, who would have thought we'd be saying this? Can the Browns defense carry them to a 3-1 start?
Yeah, I think so. And I had them at 7 wins. I, had to kind of see this defense do it, kind of get better. And they completely have. And look, if this defense continues to play the way they have, I wouldn't be shocked if this team could find themselves, deep into a playoff run. I know Watson has been and if Watson could play a little bit better than he has with how good this defense is, This Browns team is right now, especially in the defensive end of the ball. If they don't make many mistakes offensively, I think they're going to play well. And I just, the Ravens offense, I haven't been too impressed with so far. And last week, I know, they weren't great. Like the passing game just hasn't gotten going yet. If the Browns can kind of contain Zay Flowers, he's been awesome. He's had a really nice rookie year so far. I think the Browns are going to be able to win this football game as long as Deshaun Watson just does not make a ton of mistakes. I think Baltimore again is just going to have to struggle offensively to score points.
We got an NFC North matchup in we got an AFC matchup in Tennessee as the Bengals take on the Titans. And let me tell you something. The Bengals are doing a disservice to Joe Burrow. He is not 100%. He should not be out there. He should not be out there right now. They're doing a disservice to him. He barely can move on Monday night. Yeah, they were able to win the game against a bad team, but he was barely able to move on Monday night. They're doing a disservice to him. I think the Titans run the ball well. I think Derrick Henry has a bounce-back game this week. He has a big game. I do think Ryan Tannehill doesn't make a lot of mistakes in this game. And I do think this Titans defense forces Burrow to turn the ball over a couple times because Burrow's not right. And that's why I got the Titans. I got the Titans pulling the upset here. I got the Titans beating the Bengals 23-19. But Justin, can the Bengals beat the Titans for the fourth straight time?
I think they do 17-14. I'm with you. Burrow right now, he's struggling to move, and like even trying to throw a ball off his back foot, like you just see it's just the ball's not coming out right. And calves. Again, I'm not a doctor, but like we've seen a couple times in like other sports and even football where like the calf injury can lead to Achilles injury, and that could be a long injury there. So yeah, I don't really love what the Bengals are doing here. I know Burrow wants to toughen it out, but if there's any other quarterback in the league that was facing the Bengals this week, I'd take the Titans. But I just think Tannehill makes a couple mistakes. I know the Bengals pass rush is good, but that's when Jackson went out for the Rams Monday night, and they kind of just took over defensively. I think Cincinnati does enough to contain Derrick Henry, and I don't think Tannehill does enough through the air. And I think Cincinnati just Burrow has a couple quick hitters in this game, and they do enough just to survive against the Titans Sunday.
Yeah, this should be another sloppy game, seeing that Joe Burrow is not healthy for the Bengals. We got an interconference matchup in Indianapolis. The Rams take on the Colts. And I think in this game, I think this is a low-scoring game, but I do think I'm going to take the quarterback that's been playing pretty well with the head coach. Gardner Minshew's not played that bad with Shane Steichen. I think that continues this week. I think he's able to manage the game, and I do think they force a couple turnovers from Matthew Stafford, and that's why I got the Colts going to 3-1. I got the Colts going to 3-1, beating the Rams 23-16. But Justin, can McVay get the Rams back? Can McVay get the Rams back to 2-2?
I think so. I got the Rams going back on the road this week, win this one 23-21. If they can get Stafford enough time, I don't think the Colts secondary is that great. And again, if they can get the running game going, that's where McVay likes to kind of go off play action, and that's kind of where you see his offense have more success. And I think they have the ability to do that this week. And I think Stafford makes enough plays through the air, and I think Gardner Minshew plays well enough. But I think the Rams defense makes a big stop late. And finally for the Rams too, they just got to be better on third down. I think they were 1 for 11 last week, something like that. They were not great there. But I think the Rams do a better job this week of running the football.
We got a matchup of the two worst teams in the NFL as the 0-3 Broncos face the 0-3 Bears. Both these teams are an outright disaster. The Broncos giving up 70 points last week, and the Bears, they are just so bad. Their quarterback is terrible. Their defense is terrible. The Bears don't do anything well. Their coach is terrible. The Bears are awful. This is such a bad game. I'm going to take the Broncos because at least Russell Wilson is capable. Yeah, he's not what he was in Seattle, but at least he's capable. That's why I'm going to take the Bears in this game. Funny, these teams might have the two worst offenses in football and the two worst defenses in football. That's what's crazy. They're clearly the two worst teams. They're absolutely terrible. So I'm going to take the Broncos here 21-17, but that's just because the Bears are just so bad. But Justin, I'm not even going to talk about the question about the game. Which team is a bigger disaster right now? The Bears or the Broncos? It's tough to tell.
Yeah, it is. I got the Broncos in this one 24-17. Both teams are an embarrassment. Like the Broncos blew a 21-3 lead against Washington. They gave up 70 last week, and the Bears they're as bad as what we thought the Cardinals would be this year. And I didn't really buy the Bears hype, but people are like, oh, this is a wild card. This team won 3 games last year. The defense has not got any better. The offensive line still stinks. Fields hasn't got any better.
And the big thing is Justin Fields. He is absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
Justin Fields he played pretty well at times last year. Right now, he is terrible. He is garbage. He's awful. And he's blaming other people. We didn't get that into it last week. We didn't get too into it last week because it happened right before the show started. But he's blaming other people for him being terrible. He's garbage.
Yeah, that's not a good look, and that's just that was bad. I get, because I think he was trying to say, look, this thing's just not tailored for me. But I do remember, last year, or no, it was his rookie year. Remember after the first preseason game, he was like, man, he was like, I already got the speed, the kind of the timing of the sport down, or in the league down. It was like, okay, it is preseason, man. It's just he felt like he was kind of caught up, but man, that's been the complete opposite. This team is so bad. I'd say the Bears a little bit more of a disappointment, and I know even last Wednesday, you go back with the DC. I know we're not gonna get into it because nothing's kind of been final of what has really happened. But even with that, then they got the equipment stolen. The Bears organization is just a dumpster fire right now, and yeah, that whole staff should be. It's not going to last till next year. That team is just a total disarray right now. And even Sean Payton, even though Sean Payton looks like a big embarrassment too for all the garbage he was spewing. Last year, he was destroying 2 on Fox. And then goes after Nathaniel Hackett saying he was the problem. I think the Bears are a little bit more of a disappointment than the Broncos, but it's very close.
I definitely think it's the Bears. I definitely think it's the Bears. I mean, it's just an embarrassment of an organization. I mean, yeah, they can't hire head coaches. The quarterback they don't hold accountable at all. I mean, I don't think Ryan Poles has to be fired. Matt Eberflus has to clearly be fired, and Justin Fields has got to be gone. Justin Fields has got to be gone. This guy takes zero accountability at all. But blame this guy, blame that guy, blame this guy. Oh, and then the GM is even better. He's making excuses about Justin Fields' poor placing. He's got to get, now that he has the weapons he said he didn't have from last year. Oh, now he's got to get used to having his new weapon. It's just an absolute disaster of a franchise and an absolute terrible quarterback.
Oh yeah, it's bad. And I'm going through it right now. When's the last time? Who's the best? Bears quarterback that they've ever drafted.
Never.
It's got to be what? Kyle Orton?
It's awful.
I know
that's not saying much at all either.
Yeah, it has to be. This organization they have never been able to draft a quarterback. I know it's a tough thing, and we see a lot of QB draft bust, and that just don't turn out. But to not be able to hit on one of them, and you could have Patrick Mahomes waiting. You had him right there sitting in your lap, and yeah, they went with Trubisky. And,
oh my God!
Yeah,
how horrible was that?
Yeah, I feel bad for Bears fans because man, it is bad. Jake Cutler's probably been their best franchise quarterback in the last 30 years.
Which is sad.
That's saying something.
Absolutely sad to say. Absolutely sad to say. So yeah, this should be a very ugly game on Sunday between two terrible teams, between the Bears and the Broncos. We'll move on to an AFC matchup in Houston between the Steelers and the Texans. And I think this is a game where maybe the Texans stay in it early. I like the way CJ Stroud has played. I think for the Texans, the main thing is do you have your guy going forward? And early on, it looks like they got their guy going forward. So it seems like for the first time in a while, this organization is going in the right direction. But in this game, I think the Steelers defense is going to be too much. I think they're going to force a couple turnovers from Stroud. I think Pickett is going to manage the game. Pickett hasn't really impressed me that much, but I feel like he's going to manage the game. I think the Steelers are going to win this one. I got the Steelers winning it 24-13. But Justin, can CJ Stroud pull off another upset this week?
I don't think so. I got Steelers as well, 21-16. Yeah, Stroud. Yeah, I've been really impressed with him so far. I think this week, I think that offensive line's gonna have tough time slowing down that Pittsburgh pass rush. I think they're gonna get after him. But again, I think Stroud can get the ball out quick. He's been really good at the intermediate passing stuff. I think Nico Collins, Nathaniel Dell, the rookie, who played locally, at Houston. I think, if those two kind of big days, he can get the ball out to him. I think technically go in there and win it. But yeah, I've been impressed with Stroud so far. He's just looked really kind of calm and collected back there. And, I know we go back. I know, you go back to that playoff game against Georgia. Like, I know that was still in college, but there's a ton of pro talent in that Georgia defense, and he took them apart like we haven't seen anybody do the last couple of years. That, I was always impressed by him in that game. So yeah, like it's great that the Texans got their guy moving forward right now. And I think the future is a little bit brighter there in Houston than it has been the last couple of years.
AFC South matchup in New Orleans as the Saints take on the Bucs. Jameis Winston looks like he's going to start against his former team, and the Saints have not given up more than 20 points in a game, I think, since like November of last year. So the Saints defense is playing real since I think it was against the Steelers, November 13th against the Steelers last year. So last time they gave up 20 points in a game. So this Saints defense, or no, I think it was the Rams after Thanksgiving last year. It was the game right after Thanksgiving against the Rams, but it's the last time they gave up 20 or more points in a game. So this Saints defense has got off to a really good start, even though they blew the game last week. But the big reason for that is their offense kept going kept not getting any first downs in the second half when Derek Carr got hurt. But in this game, I do feel like Winston is going to manage the game, and I do think the Saints defense is going to force a couple turnovers from Baker Mayfield. And I think that's going to be the difference. I just don't see Baker Mayfield putting up more than 20 points in this defense. I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game. But I got the Saints going to 3-1, beating the Bucs 23-17. But Justin, can Baker get the Bucs to 3-1?
I got the Saints as well, 21-13. Yeah, I think it's 10 or 11 straight there with the Saints going. Yeah, with the giving up less than 20 points. Like, it's really impressive right now what they've been doing defensively. And I think very quietly. Like, I don't think people put them in that elite category defensively, but they should be right there.
Yeah,
and I think Jameis.
To me, they're top 10. To me, they're top 10, especially with Marshawn Lattimore, because Lattimore missed like 10 games last year. So I think I put them in that top 10 level. I put the Saints in that top 10 level.
Yeah, they think they are very quietly. People, I thought there was good defense. I didn't realize that how elite this defense really is. But yeah, they've been awesome so far this year. And I think again, a quarterback like Baker Mayfield's not going to burn these guys. I think Baker's going to struggle to move the ball against this defense. I think they're going to struggle to run again. They only had 41 rushing yards last week, and I think Winston takes care of the ball, and I think they got Alvin Kamara back, another weapon for him. I think he could have a big day through the air, receiving wise, and has enough on the ground as well. And I think the Saints find a way to bounce back after the disappointing loss last week.
We got a battle of 0-3 teams in Minnesota as the Vikings take on the Panthers. And I think this is a game that I think Kirk Cousins has a good game. I think Andy Dalton will probably be starting. So I think Andy Dalton has a pretty good game too. I think it's close and comes down to the end, but I think the Vikings pull this one out. I got the Vikings getting their first win of the year, 27-20. But Justin, can Frank Reich get his first win as Panthers head coach?
I do. I got the Panthers 27-23. I thought Dalton played pretty well last week on the road in Seattle. I know that's not a great defense either, but he's, this is not much of an upgrade playing this Vikings defense. And the poor Vikings just find ways to lose. They got the game handed them last week.
Oh my God. Staley handed it to him, and then Kirk Cousins at the end. Oh, man.
Spike the ball. Just throw that ball away.
Nobody wanted to win that game last week. No one wanted to win that game, and somebody had to win, and it was the team with the better quarterback that won. Just like I thought would. That's like we thought was going to win. Thought was going to win.
Yep. And you knew exactly that game was going to end exactly how it did.
Yeah. Staley goes for a fourth down, and then Cousins can't score with 25 yards to go. 25 yards to go. He can't score a touchdown. I don't want to hear about this guy. I don't care about the stats. I don't want to hear about this guy at all being a top 10 quarterback or even a top 15, maybe a top 15, but definitely not a top 10 quarterback. I don't want to hear about him being top 10, maybe top 15, but Kirk Cousins at the end of that game.
Yeah, he did. He did. He did a rookie mistake there. Veteran guy has been in the league for a decade. You would think would have known that. Live. I got to look for another down here. But that's Kirk Cousins in a nutshell. But this week, I just think the Vikings, with the way they blitz, I think Andy Dalton's going to be able to find some of his weapons, and it's an Adam Thielen revenge game, and I think you have a big one. And I right now, I'll take the Panthers. I see the Vikings finding a way to lose this football game. I know the Panthers defense right now is banged up. I know they have some talent, but I'll take Carolina on the road. I mean, at home this week to win this football game.
Hector said, "Who would have thought we would have 2 games in week 4 where all the teams are 0-3?" Yeah, that's crazy. We got two matchups of 0-3 teams. This one, and then we got the terrible game between the Broncos and the Bears. But let's be honest, the Vikings. These are the 2 better 0-3 teams. I'd say the Vikings are definitely the best 0-3 team, and the Panthers I would put number 2. But yeah, it's crazy. We have 2 games of 2 0-3 teams. But we got to move on to an AFC West matchup in LA as the Raiders take on the Chargers. And this is a game that Brandon Staley just can't blow because the Chargers are the better team. They're at home, even though there'll be a lot of Raider fans there, and they got definitely the better quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo might even play the game, but so I think the Chargers control this game. I think Herbert has a big day, throws 2 or 3 touchdown passes, and I think the Raiders might get a touchdown in garbage time. That's why I got the Chargers cruising, winning 31-17 over the Raiders. But Justin, can the Raiders get their second straight win over the Chargers?
Yeah, no, not if Jimmy G does not play. I got the Chargers 28-17. This is my score. Brian Hoyer starts. I don't know why they wouldn't even start O'Connell in this one. But yeah, like if Hoyer plays, like I see Hoyer throwing like 3 interceptions against his defense. And I think, Quinn Johnson now with Mike Williams on for the Chargers, I think he could kind of have a nice breakout game. For him, I think Herbert will be able to find him, and this Raider defense isn't going to be able to slow them down. And another bad coaching decision when McDaniel's kicking the field goal down.
Oh my God, that was awful. That was awful. I didn't get that at all. I didn't get that at all. I did not get that at all. It just shows you he probably doesn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo right there.
No.
He just wants to get points there instead of going for it, which you should absolutely go for. It's like under 3 minutes to go and you kick the field goal. That was a poor decision.
Yeah. That was, he said it was, I thought we could get the ball back. It's like, you trust that defense to give you the ball back?
There's no way you're getting the ball back. Yeah. That's one of the worst. That's a bottom 5 defense. You ain't getting the ball back.
No. So that McDaniel's another one. Yeah. He'll probably be asking Bill for another job this offseason. So if Garoppolo plays, I can see this being a 1-score game.
Yeah, but we'll see if Bill still has a job this offseason.
Yeah. Head coaching wise. Yeah. If not, to draw Mayo. Maybe Mayo will give him that because I think it's Mayo that will take over for him. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it was just bad decision making. Raiders in for a long year. Chargers, just a game that they can win, but I still don't have confidence in this team with that head coach. I don't. The quarterback's really good, top 10, but I don't have confidence in that head coach getting that team to the playoffs. But we are going to wrap up talking about the NFC West matchup in Santa Clara, Cardinals and the Niners. Yes, the Cardinals have played better than we thought they would play, but this is a step up in competition this week. They're not playing the Commanders, who are probably the worst team in the NFC East. They're not playing the Giants, who are probably the 3rd best team in the NFC East. And they're not playing the Cowboys, who are the 2nd best team in the NFC East. They're playing the best team in the NFC in the San Francisco 49ers. And also, this is an NFC East team, so Jonathan Gann doesn't have a ton of knowledge, doesn't have as much knowledge on them. So I think the Niners cruise in this game. I think Christian McCaffrey has a big game. I think Purdy throws a couple touchdown passes. And they force Dobbs to turn the ball over a couple times because Josh Dobbs ain't getting the rushing yards he got against the Giants or the Cowboys. So I got the Niners cruising this game, still proving why they are the best team in the NFC. It's proving why they're the best team in the NFC. I got them winning 34-13 over the Cardinals. But, Justin, is there a way that Arizona can continue to compete and be competitive in this game and maybe pull off a crazy upset?
Maybe for a half, I can see it keeping it around, but I got the Niners 20-13. If they should be able to do whatever they want offensively in this one. Look, Dobbs has played really, really well. I've been very impressed, but I'm with you. I think this week is going to be next level. Facing a defense like this, and I think they're going to slow down Dobbs, and I think Brock Purdy makes the plays. He's not great, but this is a defense where he should have no problem moving the ball, and I get the Niners win this one by 2 scores at home.
Yeah, it should be. Niners should cruise in this game against the Cardinals. But that's going to wrap it up on Sports Talk with R&J. For Steve Risser, for Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back in about 5 minutes to talk about the pennant races in Major League Baseball and Week 5 of the college football season. So make sure you are tuned in 5 minutes.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.